However, we're looking for some great racing today, and you can tell us all about it, by the by. Meantime, as we join you live here back from the tower here in Stan Sayers pits, Steve Rabel along with Chip Hanauer. Mike Fitzsimmons is back on the start-finish line for us. Chip, let's talk a little bit about the teams, the drivers. Can a driver out here win with inferior equipment? Can a team get a driver ready who's maybe not ready to run this race?
Every driver's dream is not necessarily just to win, but to win a race with less equipment than the other guy. That's the true measure of a driver. You know, Dave Villwock's in a rough position because he's favored to win. If he does anything but win, he's a loser. But there's a lot of these other drivers that they can take a piece of equipment that no one expects to win and take it to that checkered flag. And that's a driver's dream. And to do it at the Chevrolet Cup, that's the ultimate driver's dream.
Well, and Mike, we always talk about, and you did this morning, the unpredictability, the surprises. One thing that we can predict is that once the racing starts out here for real today, these waters, the Ted Jones course, can get churned up and they can cause all kinds of problems.
They sure can, and Steve and Chip, the bottom line is what Bill Munsey used to say. Success in hydroplane racing is when preparation meets opportunity. You never know how well prepared you have to be, and you never know what that opportunity is until you see it in Paddle Day. If the bottom line is, when a driver who can recognize that, regardless of what kind of equipment he's got, is going to be a winner.
And maybe the all-time dream to be realized would be Nate Brown and his brand new boat that he built in what he said is his final race as a driver of an Unlimited. What a dream it would be for him to capture the checkered flag at the end of the day.
Yeah. So in answer to your question, Steve, the bottom line is yes to all of that. Yes, a driver with lesser equipment could do it, but a little luck has got to come along.
I like hearing answers that say, yes, Steve, you were right all along. Okay. Mike, Patrick, Chip, thanks. We're going to talk much more about all of that. Meantime, here's our next AT&T text-in question. Listen, we have had people texting us from all over the world, Japan, Germany, and, of course, all over the country and right here in the Northwest. So text your answer to 21234 and tell us why you like this driver. Your answer enters you to win one of 5 Samsung Blackjack smartphones, courtesy of AT&T. Start texting. Who is your favorite all-time hydroplane driver? Chip, sit still.
What's
for just
that number
a minute.
again? Give me that number.
It is 21234. Chip has got a lot of texting to do. Meantime, there's still work going on in the pits because we're racing boats here. In just a minute, Heat 2A live from Lake Washington when we come back. Our headlines for Heat 2A as we're about ready to run it live. Will they be ready? Boats need fixing. And how about his final race? Nate Brown in the red dot. He's getting ready to go as well. Also, Ken Muscatel, the doctor, ran fast yesterday. What about today? Heat 2A coming up live as we speak.
Heat 2A of the Chevy Cup at Seafair is brought to you by Gelwood Windows and Doors. Reliability for real life. And is presented for Seafair by 76 Quality Pro Clean Gasoline.
Here's the lineup for Heat 2A. The Tri-Arc Electric is not going to get off the trailer, still repairing it. But Red Dot, ProCraft Windows, Lake Ridge Paving, and MirageBoats.com all set to go racing here in 2A. As you see, just a shade under 2 minutes, the boats are out there scoring up on an overcast morning, but we expect sunshine, and here are your drivers. Chris Bertram didn't finish after the flip yesterday. He's not going to run except perhaps in the consolation race. Nate Brown with the red dot. His final race today as a driver. The ProCraft Electric. Ken Muscatel, the doctor, at the controls. He will be looking for any kind of win today. It'll be his first ever. Lake Ridge Paving, David Williams, the museum runner, the museum operator, and finally, Greg Hopp in the Mirage boats. As we come out again to live racing, we're set to go as they get ready to score up. And the man who has been a legend here Pat O'Day talking about the fast qualifier.
Well, the Jack in the Box congratulates Nate Brown, who built the boat himself, took it out of the box and qualified at 142.227. He's the fastest qualifier for Heat 2A. And for the best in fast food anytime, stop by your nearest Jack in the Box.
And now to the best play-by-play in the business for the last 20 years for the unlimited hydroplanes here on Lake Washington. Here is Mike Fitzsimmons.
Thank you, Patrick O'Day. And this boat, the Red Dot, is a nice, strong running boat. He's had a couple of quick laps to warm up out here, and the boat looks almost like a seasoned competitor. It's only in its second heat of racing. This gentleman here, Dr. Ken Muscatel, who is creeping around the race course right now trying to get a established lane, had one of his best heats of racing yesterday. I think that he may have a trick or two up his sleeve. The inside's going to go to the 100 boat, the dark blue boat, and to Greg Hopp. Next to him, it looks like Dr. Ken Muscatel is going to take the middle lane, and on the outside, Nate Brown is going to come down here. 8 seconds now left on the clock. The drivers start to throttle up. They're a little bit concerned about jumping the gun. They're a little close. Let's see what happens here. Looks like we're all right, and it was a perfect start for Dr. Ken Muscatel, who leads them down into the first corner now from the middle lane. And Chip, that was a good start.
For Ken Muscatel, it was an excellent start. This guy in the last 2 days has shown more driving ability than I've seen in his entire career.
And Ken Muscatel will lead him off the exit pin on the lower corner with a couple of guys, one on the left, one on the right, creeping up on him, back about 5 boat lengths now. But Ken Muscatel is seeing boats in the mirrors for the first time in a heat of racing out here on Lake Washington in a long time, rather than looking up ahead to see who's there. This turn will make a big difference, though, because Nate Brown is really pouring on the coals as he comes around wide on the outside. He's staying out of trouble that way and coming inside tight. That is, of course, Greg Hopp in the blue boat. And both of them slipped by Dr. Ken Muscatel right there.
Nate Brown is doing a job in a boat that he really knows nothing about. This boat has only had 1 heat of racing, so every time he goes into the corner, he's kind of guessing what's it going to do. But he's driving it like he's been in it for years.
And as you see him start to tighten up on that corner now, he's leaving the lane for Dr. Muscatel, but he's obviously beginning to trust this race boat, even though it's only in its second heat of racing. He's beginning to get a feel for the boat, and as he does so, he will perhaps be a little more bold.
2 drivers did a very good job. He pinched Ken Muscatel very, very tight, right on the verge of being illegal, and Ken did a great job by sticking that boat in that really tiny, narrow lane.
It did cost Muscatel a long distance, however. Now the battle is a deck-on-deck in the second lap between the 100 boat, the Mirage boats, and also Nate Brown.
At the end of 2 laps, how can you ask for a better heat of racing than between Nate Brown and Greg Hopp right now?
You can't. This is a great race. There you see them side by side. Inside boat is the blue one, the MirageBoats.com, with Greg Hopp at the wheel. And outside, getting tested now a little bit. And that would be Nate Brown in that Red Dot. And this particular time, Chip, he's having to decide whether or not he really wants to push it.
Well, the first thing we're seeing is Ken Muscatel, I think, spun the boat out up in the north corner. But I tell you what, Nate Brown gets excited about nothing. Imagine how excited he's going to be about finishing second in this brand new boat.
He's thinking second, you know, in the event we could cause any kind of a little problem out there, he'd just soon take first. But right at the moment, it looks like there's not enough real estate left on the race course for that, and he's going to settle happily for second place. This is a good finish also for the Leland team, this MirageBoats.com, in its second race of the season, and Greg Hopp gets the checkered flag right behind him, the Red Dot and Nate Brown.
No wonder Greg pulled away from him. He turned that last lap at 141 miles an hour.
He's got some speed. Not a bit surprised that he did that. This is one of the fastest of the Leland boats, and Greg Hopp knows how to drive it. He's got a lot of time in this particular boat, but a nice finish also for the 17 team, for the Red Dot folks and Nate Brown.
Let's explain how these boats get to the winner-take-all final. You need to gather points in all these elimination heats, and the boats with the most points make the final. Greg Hopp did not have an exceptional day yesterday, so finishing first today gives him a lot of points to help him towards that final. He needed that heat win.
If you don't get enough points and you might wind up in a consolation race or provisional, you get to be the trailer boat, and it's real tough to win from there. Well, we got some smoke coming out of the rear end of the Procraft Windows boat there, and that's an attempt to restart. It looks like he tried at one point to try to go back and pick up apparently a buoy that he missed, but now Dr. Muscatel is having a little trouble getting restarted.
As we go through the day, there's two kinds of smoke. There's white smoke and dark smoke. If it's white smoke, that can usually mean just water has hit the hot engine or the hot exhaust pipe, and that's just steam. If you see smoke that's got some color to it, if it's brown, if it's got some green tint to it, that's a little more serious.
Yeah, that's restart blue smoke we're seeing right there, and he's trying to spool it, but he's having a bit of a difficulty doing that. He has an opportunity to finish if he can fire up and get around the buoy mist and come on down and finish his lap, but it's looking less and less likely that Muscatel is going to be able to do that.
Two great drivers battled it out there. Greg Hopp from a great racing family. His father was Jerry Hopp, who drove an Unlimited, and Nate Brown, who's been around the sport for so long. In the boat he built himself in his final day of racing. A very significant heat and a tight race.
Indeed, and Chip, I think that Nate is learning some things about that boat very rapidly. But of course, he says he's going to retire, and that's going to be the end of it after today's racing. But he seemed to have a lot of confidence in what he was racing with.
Well, two things. I think he's a liar. I think we're gonna see Nate drive some more, especially when he's driving a brand new boat that obviously is performing this well, Steve.
And you know, the other thing too, guys, is those two drivers got out there and actually got to mix it up a little bit, Nate Brown and Greg Hopp. But how tough is it? I mean, the attrition is really starting to take hold. Chris Bertram, they're trying to rebuild the boat, never got on the course. Dave Williams, the curator of the race museum, really wants to get out here and race today. He couldn't get things going, couldn't get away from the dock, and then of course Ken Muscatel spins, hooks the buoy, and he's still sitting out there in the water. So attrition is going to build throughout the course of this day.
Well, the adage in racing is to first win, you first have to finish. But before that, before you can finish, you have to start. So when you see something like Dave Williams not get off the dock, that's just heartbreaking. These are all volunteer guys that have been away from their families, have given everything they had to make a boat like the Lake Ridge Paving run. And when it doesn't, it literally breaks their hearts.
And this guy's going to be busy today because he's in both the lights as well as the Unlimited. Greg Hopp, your unofficial winner today, down to guard with your driver.
Hey, Greg, nice ride. You talk about a guy coming out of the blocks real quick. First heat on Sunday, and you guys grab it.
Well, I'm telling you, we went out this morning. We had some motor issues yesterday that we didn't even know about. Put a new bullet in for today, and this one runs a lot better. So, yeah, I'm glad to take the win from MirageBoats.com and for the team. I mean, it's been a long time coming, so glad to get it for the team. Hopefully we can rally, and that should hopefully get us close to the final.
Now, I heard you weren't real happy about yesterday. You ran a little bit slow. You put the new engine in. You put the new gearbox in. During testing today, you go 5 miles an hour faster, and it showed today.
Yeah, it definitely showed. I think we were geared wrong, and we had a motor issue, so this one seems to be running a lot better. I say we stick with this bullet.
Well, good luck the rest of the day.
All right, thanks.
All right, Steve.
Guard, thanks very much. To Bill Rocky now on the other side of the pits. What's going on over there, Bill?
Thanks, Steve. Well, you're taking baby steps. You get into the race, then you finish your first heat. Now you're deck to deck with Greg Hopp out there.
My second goal today here was to have a deck-to-deck race, and we tried, but I'm having a hard time getting it through the corners, and I got to work on that right now. I don't know what it is. So I don't know if it's grease in the rudders or got to adjust the wing a little bit and load the prop a little more, because I think I'm starting to prop walk it around the corners. But I love seeing, I thought it was musky there at first. I'm seeing blue out of my corner of my eye. I go, I got to leave him space, and it was an awesome run for all the guys, and we got to get points here. It's still a long day of racing, but the fact that we're even here at all is just a miracle.
They're dropping a lot of water on us right now. I'm going to send it back to you, Steve.
Oh, that's all right. That's part of the deal. There you go, your unofficial results. The MirageBoats.com. There's the red dot and Nate. And the rest of the boats, Lake Ridge Paving never got away from the dock, and Procraft Windows Tri-Arc as well. Your unofficial results of Heat 2A.
Heat 2A of the Chevy Cup at Seafair has been brought to you by Gelwin Windows and Doors. Reliability for real life.
And congratulations to Greg Hopp and the U100 MirageBoats.com, your Geico photo finish winner of Heat 2A. And your search for the best price on insurance is never finished until you call Geico.
When we come back, a couple of these boats are going to be down on the water, including the Sausage Boat, Heat 2B. Coming your way next, live coverage from the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair ahead.
Now, here's an awesome driver profile brought to you by Novus, the windshield repair experts.
They call 45-year-old Montreal native Jean Thirret the Canadian Conqueror. He adds an international flair to unlimited racing. 2 years ago, he captured his first Chevrolet Cup title and then successfully defended his crown in 2006. Thirret's 43 victories, 6 national championships, and 4 Grand Prix World Championships make him the winningest driver ever in Grand Prix racing. Thirret was the 2005 Abra Rookie of the Year and looks to win his 3rd straight Chevy Cup in a hotly contested field of unlimited hydroplanes.
Here is Heat 2B coming your way live in just a couple of seconds. Our headlines, our first heat won yesterday, but what about coming up here today? This veteran driver has won heats before. He's looking to upset the favorite today in the sausage boat. And J. Michael Kelly, he's young, he's fast, but can he win here on the lake? It's all in Heat 2B.
Heat 2B of the Chevy Cup at Seafair is brought to you by Comcast. If you're thinking of making the move to high def, think Comcast. And is presented for Seafair by Tide. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide.
Here is the lineup for Heat 2B with the Formula Boat up front, formulaboats.com. Oh boy, Alberto, Haas Mortgage Investors, and the Miss Car Pros boat. And unlike Heat 2A, we've got all 5 boats out on the water with a little more than 2.5 minutes to go before we go racing. They'll be scoring up in just a second. We will take a look now at the drivers in this race, beginning with the U1, the formulaboats.com boat, and Jimmy Shane.
And this young rookie who qualified as a driver over in Tri-Cities only a week ago has not really had a chance to show what he's got here on Lake Washington. This will be his first opportunity.
Jeff Bernard, I believe he is an emerging great one. Is this the weekend that he actually breaks through?
And let's see if Bill Rocky has got a thought or two on that. The former Bud boat, the formulaboats.com.
That's right, Steve. I'm liking all these young drivers, and Jeff Bernard's one of them. I think he's getting better and better, like Chip said, and I really want to see how he's going to do here in Seattle, because he's really been coming on.
Mike, Steve David won last year's driver's title. Doesn't look like he's going to do it this year, but he's still got a fast boat.
You never know. He's got 1 victory on Lake Washington under his belt already, and that sausage sled brand new and very, very fast. And this guy is a savvy veteran in hydroplane racing. And
Gart, nothing better that they'd like in the sausage camp than to win one for Art Alberto.
Well, it's so funny. I was just over there talking to a bunch of the crew members, Steve, and I said, are you guys doing anything different right now going into this heat from yesterday? They said, absolutely not. It is status quo. We love how we're running. All year they've been running well, especially in Tri-Cities, and they ain't going to do anything different. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That is what words to live by. David Bryant, another one of those young drivers, Chip, who you like.
He comes from flat bottoms, or what we think of as drag boats, so a hydroplane hull is all new to him, but he's doing great learning.
And Mike, finally, the U13, the Car Pros boat, J. Michael Kelly. He's another fast one, another up-and-comer.
I think J. Michael Kelly's one of the most skillful hydroplane drivers I've seen in 45 years. This kid is something else, and I think on Lake Washington today, he's going to start to show us what kind of promise he's got.
And we'll talk about the fastest qualifier as we're lining up, scoring up. About 43 seconds to go. Patrick.
Jack in the Box will congratulate Jeff Bernard, who Chip gives an A+ as a driver. He's driving a former Budweiser, the formulaboats.com. He qualified at 151.905 miles an hour for Heat 2B. And for the best in fast food anytime, stop by your nearest Jack in the Box.
And from Chopper 7, they're moving slowly as they get set to race, Michael.
Everybody just creeping through the turn as they're trying to set their lanes. And they are a bit early on the clock also as they start the throttle up, the power curve, if you will. Off the corner, though, Stephen David from the inside is going to have the lead. Formula Boats in the 2nd lane. J. Michael Kelly, Car Pros in the 3rd lane, and another Formula Boat on the outside. And here they come to the line. We've got a legal start in the formulaboats.com on the outside. Mr. Bertram is carrying them down into that first corner now, but he's got a lot of lanes between him and the buoy row as they come around that corner.
I think we're going to see 2 best friends hook up again. Jeff Bernard and J. Michael Kelly are in 2nd and 3rd, so I think this is going to be a close one all the way to the end.
Stephen David up the back chute with a lot of angry boats behind him on the way up, and here comes Mr. Bernard as he starts to pull alongside the Oh Boy Oberto. The Oh Boy Oberto, however, trying to maintain its slim lead in the inside lane. As they come around this corner on the north side, we got a wall of water up there, and there is the Formula boats coming out of the corner right alongside Stephen David, and just to the outside of that, 2 more boats, including J. Michael Kelly. Oh, and he gets a little out of attitude as he comes out of that corner, but he settles down. Stephen David across the line first.
The Elam boat certainly might have everybody covered for first place, but after that, these boats are all very evenly matched, and I think this heat demonstrates that.
Whipping through the lower corner now, Stephen David starting to pull away just a little bit. There's a lot of racing to come, and at some point, Chip, as you well know, the drivers behind the leader have got to decide, do I push or do I settle?
And a lot of that decision is made by how have I done earlier? Have I got points in the bank? And if I've got enough points in the bank and I'm comfortably in second, third, or even fourth, maybe I'll just let him go.
Well, in third place, David Bryan is thinking, I'm pushing, I'm not settling yet, because he's putting the pressure on Jeff Bernard right now as they come through that upper corner. Steve David seeing all that in his mirrors, however, behind himself as he comes down to take the white flag. 1 more lap to go for the old boy Oberto en route to a second victory on Lake Washington. But look at this race for second place. It's Jeff Bernard, and it's that young man, David Bryan, and by gosh, Pat O'Day, these guys are really lucking up.
These young men do drive hard, but Steve David's getting an absolutely beautiful ride out of the old boy Oberto. He's out in front by, well, about a rooster tail, about 10 boat lengths in front.
And now David Bryant has overtaken second place, and he's still pushing. He's going after Stephen David there with a half a lap left to go. Jeff Bernard has settled into third place in the FormulaBoats.com, and Steve David is looking back there saying, this guy's coming after me, and he's coming on the outside, and he has a whole lot of speed as he comes out of that corner. David Bryan is not going to give up. He's going to try to drag race him to the start-finish line, and this is going to be close. Stephen David, the old boy Alberto on the inside. David Bryan is going to...
Bryan wins it.
That is a photo finish, but it looks like that yellow boat may possibly have had the lead. It's very difficult to tell because they were just paint on paint across that line. Wasn't that beautiful?
I think the replay will show he got him by about a foot.
I'm looking down into David Bryant's pit, and you should have seen the people on that trailer. I thought the trailer was going to break when they jumped up so high. I tell you what he did is no small feat. He comes from what we call flat bottoms. Now, flat bottoms are an entirely different kind of hull than a hydroplane. They don't get air underneath them. So for a driver who has spent his whole career in flat bottoms to come here in a hydroplane and perform like that, that's something really exceptional. Let's take a look at that finish and see who really got it.
Look at this. This is about as close as it is possible. This is just horse race close. It looks as though, from our angle, that it possibly was the Oh Boy Oberto, because we have a slight angle on here. Let's look at it on the reverse side and think, oh my goodness, you just don't get any closer than that. Look for the red buoy to go streaking by. There it is. And it looks like Oh Boy Oberto may possibly have had maybe a couple of feet on David Bryant, perhaps.
I'll bet you a pepperoni stick that it's Oberto.
There they are. You just don't get any closer at the line than that.
No, I take that back.
That was a fabulous finish.
We've got a little contest going here. Yeah, I think it was the U10.
Well, I'll bet you a old Beatles record, Pat, that it was.
Well, and you know, as we are talking about this, the officials are looking at the video as well because they can't tell specifically. They're probably going to look at our race video also. But again, unofficially, it looks like the U10 sticking its nose across. But again, the angle that we're shooting down the line, it could be from the other side. It just very well could be the Oberto.
Mike, can you remember the last time that you couldn't tell who won a boat race in Seattle?
I cannot remember. I've been photo finishes like that are supposed to be on horse tracks.
Chip, Steve, I have no recollection of one being that close.
And you've seen a few races in your day, Patrick.
Has Pat been to one of these before?
I think he has been. Well, both those camps have reason to celebrate. And
you're looking from
fans,
inside the course here. Now look for the red and white stripe buoy. It'll go by very rapidly from left to right as you see it. Oh Boy Oberto seems to have the lead across. There goes. It's gone by. But you know what? You just don't know what the line angle was with respect to the camera shot to be absolutely certain. But I mean, we're talking about thousandths of a second here on the finish in any event.
And let's remember where he came from. He didn't come from a perfect start on the inside.
No.
He came from lane 3, and it took him all heat to get up there. So that boat's going really fast.
Yeah, he was going very fast, and that's got to got the folks in the orange camp down there thinking, where did he come from?
Chip, I'll take your Beatles record and raise you with a Led Zeppelin t-shirt. I think the U10 did it.
Okay, I'm throwing in a pepperoni sausage and some pizza pepperoni as well.
All right, there must be something illegal about all this betting here on television. At any rate, as we look at the
Looks like
U10
number
being
10
pulled in.
was the winner. They're calling number 10 the winner.
Oh, that's our Clark Stahl up in Chopper 7, who says it looks like, and he believes now the officials are going to call the U10 boat, the Haas Mortgage boat with David Bryant, the winner by a whisker. Let's go down to the dock and Bill Rocky, and let's see who David Bryant thinks won this race. Rock?
Thanks, Steve. David, that was incredible. They're saying you got him by that much. How'd you see it?
Oh, I knew we were close, but it's really hard to tell how you from out there, but the boat was just unbelievable down the backstretch.
You were in 3rd place with like just over a lap to go. What'd you do in that last lap?
Nothing, just kept on trying to keep my pace. The boat accelerated out of the corners, unbelievable. I think that's what was able to keep a good arc, and I don't know, lucky every once in a while. You got to get lucky. So we hit the start again, and the boat did really good.
Well, if there's still some controversy, you guys may have to flip a coin.
Yeah, that's all right. It was good. You know, no matter what happens, I had fun.
All right, let's go over to Guard Swanson with Steve David.
All right, thanks, Rock. Steve David, let me tell you something. That was one close finish.
Oh, man, the 10 is running. Dave Bryant's just an outstanding new guy, and Kim and Debbie Gregory, wonderful sports, and the Alberto won it again. It's just like another happy birthday present to Art Alberto and Art and Dorothy are watching over the beach, and we're going to continue to try to do this all day long for him.
We're talking 1 or 2 feet. I mean, it's almost like a coin flip.
It really is. He's a tremendous driver. He's pushing us. We were on the inside, and I'm trying to hold tight to the pins to not mess any up, and that bleeds a little bit of speed, but he's going to be awesome come the final. I mean, this is anybody's race.
You know, I have to ask you, I talked to your crew, and I said, hey, you guys doing anything different going into this heat? You adjusting anything? They said, no, we're just going to keep it status quo.
We're all praying in unison that the Alberto will win this thing. Yes.
All right, good luck the rest of the day.
Thanks so much.
All right, guys.
Guard, thanks. Steve David, one of the most experienced drivers out here, hasn't had the greatest success throughout his career, but he's one of those guys, Chip, who is so steady, and he's always there at the end of the day.
Well, let's not forget that he's been the driver champion the last 2 years. Now, there's a team championship and a driver championship. He wasn't team champion on either of those 2 years, but as a driver, he was the driver's champion. Last week in Tri-Cities, he outdrove Dave Villwock. He held Dave Villwock off for 2 laps, but when a guy's got that much boat speed to drive around in the outside, there's only so much you can do, but he's driving really well.
Mike, you saw that Haas Mortgage boat, David Bryant, come rocketing down there past you at the start-finish line. What does that tell you about what it holds for the rest of the day for that team?
Well, I made mention of the fact that in a heat like this, you have to decide whether you're going to hold them or you're going to show them. He decided at the last minute he was going to show them, and he really came on strong. I've not seen a boat come from 3rd to 1st faster and in more dramatic fashion in many, many races, and it's a tribute to these flat-bottom guys who like to go around corners with 8 or 9 G's against them all the time. The official order of finish is the 10 boat. The 10 boat was the official. Haas Mortgage first. Oh boy, Alberto was second, and we're talking about 3 1/1000ths of a second.
And I'm going to collect my bets.
Yeah.
Good luck on that.
Heat 2B of the Chevy Cup at Seafair has been brought to you by Comcast. If you're thinking of making the move to high def, think Comcast.
And congratulations to the Haas Mortgage Investors boat. Your Geico photo finish winner of Heat 2B. Your search for the best price on insurance is not finished until you call Geico.
More live racing ahead with the fastest boat on the water, the Elam Plus and Dave Villwock coming up. It's time to go racing again. Live action of Heat 2C coming your way. And also coming your way right into your living room, as fast as there is on the water, and the most experienced driver in a boat, the Elam crew. Brian Perkins didn't get to start yesterday, but he will today, so how will he do? And a bad day 24 hours ago for Jean Thierret. Is the U-37 Beacon boat ready to plumb for a win? We'll see in Heat 2C.
Heat 2C of the Chevy Cup at Seafair is brought to you by KIROTV.com. Your source at work for breaking news, headlines, your pinpoint forecast, and more anytime.
Line up for Heat 2C, the Hoss Mortgage Investors Boat number 2, the Elam Plus, the plumbing joint, and Beacon Plumbing is repaired and out on the course. It appears as though all 4 boats are out there. 2.5 minutes to go. They'll be staging up. The sun is breaking through here on Lake Washington, and we're going to start talking about these drivers. The most experienced guy and some young guys, too. Here is Jimmy King. Michael?
Jimmy King simply has to win this one. He wants to get into the final on the front row. He's had a difficult time doing that. The Northwest has not been kind to him. He's got to drive hard in this one.
Chip, Dave Villwock is looking to move into second place all time with wins. He is the man to beat today.
This is a dream team. Not only do they have a great driver in the cockpit, they have a great engine man, a great propeller man, and a great gearbox man. This is a dream team.
Bill Rocky, is there a reason why this team can't win today?
Well, the only reason that would be is Dave said it wasn't 100% in his first heat, believe it or not, and they adjusted a couple things. We'll see what happens in this heat.
How about the U-21 boat, the plumbing joint boat? Brian Perkins didn't even start yesterday.
Well, this is a team that's dreaming, not quite a dream team yet. They lost a prop yesterday, didn't get started. This is a promising young man. That Perkins family, his little sister, of course, driving the Unlimited Lights. This is a family that likes to go racing, and this fellow has to prove something now.
And, Chip, I remember the last 2 years you raved about John Theoret, and he won 2 straight Seafarers, but trouble yesterday.
He's in a deep hole. He has to win here, most likely, to get into the final. This is going to be tough.
Guard, that team has been working all morning long and through the night to get that boat ready, right?
You got that right, and they've repaired the boat. They're ready to go, and I talked with John Theoret a few minutes ago. He is so excited just to get on the water. It's the 3rd heat of the day, and he's been watching all this racing. He's happy to get to action.
All right, Guard, and Pat, we're inside of a minute, the fastest boat.
And Jack in the Box congratulates Auburn's David Villwock in that all-orange and lightning-fast Elam, qualified at 156.501 for Heat 2C and for the best in fast food anytime. Stop at your nearest Jack in the Box.
Michael, for a fast boat, they are slowing down as they always do into that last corner, getting scored up.
Yeah, they are creeping around the corner. They want to get into their lanes and set them as they enter that yellow buoy there in the upper part of the corner, coming around hard as he always does. Is Jimmy King. He needs to keep boat speed up. He's got a gearbox connected right to the engine, and he needs engine speed all the way to the line, and he's coming down strong. You're looking at the view from Jean Theoret's cockpit at this time, and he is in the second lane. Jimmy King leads him to the line, and Jimmy King is too early. He goes over too fast. The other 2 are about right on time, but Jimmy King, unfortunately, is about 1.25 seconds away when he comes on the line, and that's going to cost him.
Now, Dave Villwock, who's in lane 2 right out here, if he can beat John Theoret right here, he won't even have to deal with him in the final. But John Theoret's going to try and stop that. Right now, he's got to lead on Dave.
And Dave knows that. And basically, he's going to put high pressure on him this whole first lap or so. He's not going to jeopardize anything because Dave could possibly wind up paying a cost if he makes any kind of a mistake or if anything mechanical happens to him for at least a lap. He's going to stay with, boy, that was a nice, tight little bit of hip checking out there coming out of that corner.
John Theoret swings for the fence, whether it's the final heat, an elimination heat, or a provisional heat. And if he can win this, he can stay alive and maybe get into that final that he's won the last 2 years.
That lap was 144 miles an hour.
Jean Theoret in the lead now, coming off the corner here on the second of 3 times around this race course. These are sprint heats. Dave Villwock appears to be satisfied that he isn't going to put too much pressure on him. But Jimmy King, who is in a must-win situation, is thinking, I've got to go all the way to the wall. I cannot possibly let Dave beat me.
I tell you what, this is a disappointment for Dave. It truly is, even though this is only an elimination heat, because as I said earlier, if he could have beat John Theoret in this heat, he probably wouldn't have had to face him in the final.
And he still knows that, but then something may be happening with respect to that orange boat that Dave is not happy with. Jean Theoret seeing nothing but fresh water out in front of him, no other rooster tails. Dave Villwock, a rooster tail behind, comes across the line in second place at the end of lap number 2, and Jimmy King across in third place.
I got to tell you, they're banging their heads on the bars in Ballard because Villwock's about to lose a heat.
He is about to lose a heat, and except when he went upside down in one heat this year, he hasn't lost one all season. So this is a first for Dave Villwock and the Elam team on Lake Washington. Up the back chute now. John Theoret's going to own this one. It appears that Dave Villwock will not be able to catch him. Dave Villwock in second place in the Elam Plus. He's got an easy ride into the final heat already with sufficient points, it would appear. But he was hoping, as Chip said, that John Theoret would be eliminated in this one and he could get him off the card table, so to speak. Not going to happen. John Theoret's going to get the checkered flag for the Shoemaker's team. Has finally seen a winner circled in a heat. Second place, the Elam Plus. Third place coming across the line. It is Jimmy King in the Haas Mortgage. Pat?
Give a listen to this, Mike. He turned the first, Theoret turned the first lap at 145, and then the second lap at 150.316 miles an hour in competition waters.
Let me tell you something about John Theoret. In Quebec, Canada, he is Ken Griffey Jr. This guy is an all-star in Quebec, and this broadcast is being streamed live on computer, and I can tell you that everybody in Valleyfield, Quebec, is cheering right now.
Well, now there's head games also, because immediately Dave Villwock goes back to the pit area. Obviously not happy with that run at all. Obviously concerned now because he saw what young David Bryant did coming in that last heat and the speed he showed from the outside. Now he sees that Theoret can beat him in a heat. He's beginning to wonder what's going on. Where are my fates?
And the move of the race was in the second lap when Theoret came around.
We're looking at the start here, Pat, and as Jimmy King is the third boat on the from the inside, which is right to left, and he leads them, but he doesn't have the boat speed. The two guys that are really quick is the yellow and the orange boat. Now here is where we go into the corner. Now watch what Theoret does here. He's going to leave the lane, of course. He's going to leave all the room necessary, but he's going to bear just tight enough to make Dave Villwock think about him. And what does Villwock do as we continue on? He takes a wider berth, and Theoret tightens down. That's how he managed to snap into that lead. And then he had to depend upon raw boat speed, which that particular hull has not shown a whole lot of. It was the boat speed that the Elam has always had that seemed to be the thing that could take Dave Villwock across, but it didn't happen this time.
Well, Villwock nearly caught him in the north turn a couple of times, and he
down to Bill Rocky.
Dave, second time this year you've lost. Just what happened in the heat?
Just got some bad water, really. You know, right in our lane. Sean had good water, you know, on the inside, which usually it's the opposite. But because of I think probably some of the back markers there, there was just a roller right in my lane for the first lap and a half or so couldn't make up ground.
Right, you were mentioning maybe the engine was doing some funny things in your first heat. Was that the case here?
I have no idea.
Dave Villwock loses a heat for only the second time this year.
And it's interesting, Rock, that really is the story here, but also the fact that the Beacon crew was able to get that boat put back together. We also want to check one thing, that Jimmy King did jump the gun, and so he's penalized. That's why he had to finish up taking another lap. But here's John Theoret ready to pop out of the cockpit. And Chip, those guys must be very happy with the way that boat performed today.
Well, this morning when we got here, you asked me how that team was doing, and I told you that Scott Rainey, their crew chief, had this huge grin on his face, and he wears the boat's performance on his sleeve, and when I see him beaming like that, I know they found something last night.
And Mike, the fact that Dave Villwock had very, very little to say about that last heat says volumes about what they think just happened in that heat.
They are thinking about it. He's now hearing footsteps, and he has not heard footsteps all season long.
That is a significant thing that happened for a number of reasons. As Mike just said, I mean, you can see how happy they are down there, and they're happy because they knew this was their final heat. This could have been it for them. They would have not made the final. All of a sudden now they're alive. They're not in for sure because they've got 400 points only, but they're still alive.
And Gard is with John Theoret, a very happy John Theoret. Gard.
All right, Steve. Hey, John, kind of a must-win situation for you. You needed big points, and you got them.
We did it. Thank God for this win. And these Beacon Plumbing guys worked so hard last night. They gave me a good piece this morning, and I'm real pleased, real proud of them.
And how about beating the Elam boat? That doesn't happen very often. Great confidence for you guys now.
Absolutely. You know, we're getting to Dave's head now, and, you know, because nobody's beat him so far this year. So it's the first good heat that we beat him, and we're real proud of that.
You guys are riding high right now, aren't you?
Yeah, we're riding high. We're riding high.
All right. Good luck the rest of the day.
Thank you very much.
Gard, John, thanks very much. Here are those unofficial results from Heat 2C. As we look at John Theoret, there you go, the Beacon Plumbing boat. And that boat finishing first, Elam Plus, the Plumbing Joint, and the Haas Mortgage Investors.
And congratulations to Jean Thioret and the Billy Shoemaker team. The Beacon Plumbing Boat, your Geico photo finish winner of Heat 2C. Your search for the best price on insurance is not finished until you call Geico.
And so now we have a little bit of a break in the unlimited racing category as they'll check those boats again. But there is so much more action to come here as you're joining us live here on Lake Washington. The unlimited lights are still to come. We've got the races from yesterday. We've got live racing from then today. We've also got air show and more. So come on back. More from the shores of Lake Washington after this.
Now, here's an awesome driver profile brought to you by Novus, the windshield repair experts.
Steve David likes to go fast. Starting his career at only 14, experience is definitely on his side. With 25 years of racing under his belt, he has 500 victories and 17 world records in limited race boats. But one race has always eluded him, Seattle. His most memorable win came in 2001 at the Madison Regatta when he piloted the local favorite Miss Madison to the checkered flag. A prominent college professor and Florida realtor, David returns for his 7th year as driver of the Oh Boy Oberto Miss Madison team. His 2007 boat is brand new, and David is ready to capture his first Chevy Cup crown.